everyone. Well, it's great to be up here and great to be in Orlando at Social Fresh. So as mentioned, my name's Jessica Gioglio. I am the social media manager for Dunkin' Donuts. And yes, it is an amazing, exciting job. I actually run a cross-functional team, which spans marketing, public relations, advertising, legal, consumer care, and we work together to deliver everything that you see on our social media channels. And I even have my colleague Kevin Vine sitting up front. Wave a little hi, KTV. So we are all the voices as well as the content contributors. So today what I wanted to speak about is our approach to social media and how we celebrate our fans. So I've been with the brand about 4 years now, and there's been one thing that's really remained consistent: our passion for celebrating our community. So if there's one thing I can do today is I'd like to inspire you to take a closer look at your community, understand who your fans are, what motivates them, what their passion points are about your brand, and how you can really harness that power. So without further ado, as you can see here on the screen, we are a brand that's built for social media. Our fans like to share a mix of the everyday kind of moment of Dunkin', that great first bite of a donut, maybe taking a selfie with friends in store, but there's also those kind of really special moments too, like including lattes in your engagement photos. That's pretty cool. Or how about making somebody a 40th birthday sign out of K-Cups? I mean, that's pretty cool. So, we see these moments each and every day, and when we see this kind of content, we know that we have to put together different types of programming, different types of ways to celebrate these individuals and really shine that spotlight on them. As a result of our efforts, so we have quite a following. So it's not just Facebook for us. We have a passionate community across multiple channels. Facebook's our big kahuna, but we do lots of great real-time content across Twitter. We're on YouTube. We have a great blog that shares a lot of stories from across the organization, as well as great recipes. We have Instagram, which we are such a visual brand, and we like to joke when we craft content, there's kind of that lick the screen mentality of it's got to look good to share it on social. And as a result, Instagram is actually one of our fastest growing channels with our community, and we see a ton of hashtag use for around hashtag Dunkin' Donuts. Google Plus, we've hosted hangouts with fans before that have been amazing. We're on Pinterest as well as Vine, which I'll actually share some Vines with you later because we have had a lot of fun and a lot of creativity on Vine with celebrating fans. So, our one driving force on social media is our mantra. We don't own our channels, our fans do. So I'm sure a lot of you in this room, whether you work brand side or agency side, there's a lot of competition for what goes on your social media channels and what you do, right? So I kind of joke that I'm a little bit kind of like the traffic controller of our social media channels. So when I get requests from brand managers or different kind of promotions that people want to run, this is always our driving force. Is it going to be fan-centric? Is it going to appeal to our community? Is it something they're going to want to participate in? If we can't check off those boxes, it's not something we should be putting on our channels. So that's always what keeps me grounded when I'm kind of fielding, the never-ending stream of requests. All right, so I wanted to go through a few lessons and tips that really keep us running. Lesson number 1 is to celebrate your fans. So I mentioned before, we see each and every day this outpouring of fan kind of comments, their experiences in store. But one thing that really strikes me about our fan community is that they love to send pictures and visuals. It's not just text alone. They love sharing with us. So when you have a community that naturally and organically just wants to share with you, you have to create a way to celebrate them. And our Facebook Fan of the Week program is actually our longest running program on social media. It actually predates me joining the brand, so it's probably like 7 years old at this point. And it honestly, it lives in a tab on our Facebook page. We don't put a lot of media behind it. It runs itself. Fans know how to get there. We put out a post each week, and we see this continuous, amazing stream of content. we've had this program for a long time, but we actually have kind of modified it a bit. So now, in addition to being featured as a fan on our Facebook page for an entire week, the fans actually also get placed on our digital billboard in Times Square, which is really cool. And we actually send our agency partners out there each week to take a picture of the fan on the billboard. So they actually get emailed an image file, and they can actually share that across additional social media channels. And come on, how cool is that as a bragging right? My picture up in Times Square for everyone to see. So this program, has done incredibly well and really has inspired a lot more programming, which I'm going to walk you through. So another program that you might have heard of that we just launched was #mydunkin. So picture this. My advertising team calls me into a meeting and says, Jessica, we have this great idea. We want to create a TV campaign, TV, radio, out of home, that actually features real fans, real stories sourced from social media. And, anyone who's a community manager or a social media manager is going to say, oh my gosh, all those great stories and things that I'm seeing every day are actually going to get shared on a much larger national stage. Such an amazing moment. So I actually got to work with our casting agency and reach out to fans on social media and say, hey, we're working on a project we want to talk to you about. And imagine how they reacted when they realized it was a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. So really amazing. So the commercials feature stories like getting an iced coffee boost before an a cappella rehearsal, getting coffee before going surfing, finding that last pumpkin K-cup pack in your stash in your cabinet. So really kind of simple but powerful, relatable stories that really reflect the voice of the community. And I should mention, so we obviously have this as like a TV and radio campaign, but we also print #mydunkin on our coffee cups as well as POP in store. And that was a huge learning because once the cups came out, we saw such a big spike in social media conversation around the campaign as well, because fans that were taking those coffee cup images that I was showing you, now they're tagging #mydunkin in them. So it's really helped us kind of boost and amplify the campaign. So obviously, we can't feature every fan as our Facebook fan of the week. We can't cast everyone in a TV commercial, although I'd love to. But we still are getting these amazing, everyday pieces of conversation. So we sat down with our team and said, what are we going to do for kind of the everyday mentions or the occasions that we see a fan that's tweeting us that, gosh, and this always kills me, is we see a fan that has engaged with us for years and we've never followed or commented back to them, And that's something when you're a larger brand, that can happen. And I hate to see that happening because I like to think that we do better with catching, our most passionate advocates. So we built the Surprise and Delight program. And what this is we run a cross-functional team. So I have folks from marketing, PR, advertising, whoever is community managing on the platforms for the day can actually assign a response to a dedicated member of our team who will actually put together a handmade care package. So you see they're wrapped very nicely, there's handwritten notes, and each package is personalized based on what the conversation was structured around. So it might be sourcing a hard-to-find mug for someone. It might be a $5 gift card and some really cool Dunkin' Donuts sunglasses. Could be a T-shirt. Whatever we think that fan will enjoy. And what we found is that fans, are super excited to be reached out to because we just say, hey, we'd love to get your address, send you a little care package as a thanks for being a fan. But they also take pictures of what we send them, which really further reinforces that you should package things very carefully and make it, ready for its close-up. And it's amazing. 9 times out of 10, we see amazing, just this word of mouth. Oh my God, I can't believe Dunkin' sent this to me. Lesson number 2 is embrace your fans as storytellers. So, we just heard a great presentation about really kind of mining your community and your influencers for insights, and I'm a huge believer in that. I'm also a huge believer in looking at how they share your brand visually. Visual storytelling is so important in social media right now, especially with sites like Instagram, Pinterest, and Vine. How are consumers talking about you and visually talking about you? These are all images taken by our fans, and they're gorgeous. And they each tell a little story, like the Dunkin' while kind of cruising around town, running errands in your car, the Dunkin' on the desk moment on Monday morning, that first amazing bite of the donut, or maybe taking a walk on the beach with your coffee. Those are all moments that inspire us, and when you look at our content strategy across our social media channels, you're going to see that we're looking at those kind of lightweight, snackable moments that we can really rally our community around. And that's the important takeaway here, is that if your community is serving up this content and you're seeing these themes time and time again, why not craft the kind of content that your community will relate to? So examples might be, every Monday I see tons and tons of tweets and images that are talking about Case of the Mondays. I can't imagine Monday without coffee. That's a content moment. So is this one right here that I want to share with you. So obviously it's summer. It's been super hot across the country. This is something that we saw time and time from fans about talking about getting, a refreshing, moment with their culotta on the weekends. So we crafted this piece of content. We shared it last weekend. It did really well. So, we see a huge, I think what I would like to share with you is that, it's not just about kind of the marketing calendar window. It's really about communicating to fans in the way that they like to be communicated to, and I think this shows that example. Lesson number 3 is seek inspiration from fans for contests and promotions. So I'd like to introduce you to my extremely hot friends over here. So there's something about our brand in Halloween that one might not expect. We see a lot of Halloween costumes. Homemade, DIY, fabulous. I mean, it just makes me smile, the spirit of it. So, we really look at those kind of fan insights and say, well, we're seeing all these great Halloween images. What could we do with that when it comes to contests and promotions? So we actually decided to put our own spin on it because, I think asking people to make homemade Dunkin' Donuts Halloween costumes might be a high barrier to entry, but decorating a coffee cup for Halloween might not be too hard. So we've run this like 2 years now, and it has just done so well. There's something about kind of the DIY and the creative aspect of it that our fans just love. And the one tip that I'll give you is that if you run this kind of contest, we've run this across Twitter and Instagram, if you run it for an entire month, you get all this amazing user-generated content that you can use on your channels for an entire month. So we're able to count down to Halloween with our community. And it's not an everyday thing. We'll sprinkle it in throughout the month so we can talk about other programming. But, that's been hugely valuable. And what we've also found is that not everyone might want to go to the effort to create a customized coffee cup, but people enjoyed seeing this content. This kind of content got such a high engagement rate and, really reinforced to me that it's okay if everyone doesn't participate as long as they're enjoying the content you're sharing. And I think, you can look at this as well when you think of a more traditional product promotion. We also ran one called Upgrade Your Sandwich to launch our bakery sandwich line, and that was a more product-focused initiative, but based on fan tweets we saw kind of complaining about their not-so-ideal lunches. They were kind of getting coffee or other things for lunch, but maybe not buying a sandwich to go with it at Dunkin'. And we were able to tell fans to tweet us pictures of their homemade sandwiches that they weren't happy with, like the squished peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or, they didn't have any lunch meat at home, so it's like bread and cheese. And that actually went really well because it played off a theme that we were seeing. So lesson number 4 is the community management piece. So I mentioned to you that we have a cross-functional team. There's probably about 8 of us that just from the brand side that are on the channels, plus we have customer service as well. And when I'm training new reps, a lot of what we talk about is kind of good conversation skills equal good social media. So, really talking about listening before you're engaging, being authentic, not monopolizing the conversation, and really kind of encouraging that conversation in voices and being funny and entertaining, but just never inappropriate. So, we heard a lot of this from JetBlue, and I loved how they kind of showed, how to inspire their reps to embrace that fun side of their brand, but also, consistency of brand voice. That's hugely important to us, and I think when you are running a fan-centric strategy, obviously, doesn't take a genius to figure out that responding to your community and even following them is going to be something that shows the community that you care, but it's important to do so in a way that best reflects the brand. So, a lot of what we do is we really want to try and, answer questions and frequently asked questions and reactive questions, but also have fun and use visuals when we can. So this actually is funny. This picture is from a JetBlue photo shoot that we did. We actually did a video on a JetBlue plane. They were nice enough to loan us a plane for the day. But this is something that I'm in this picture, and we just took some goofy pictures towards the end in the terminal, and we ended up using them all the time. So this is one where a fan tweeted saying, "Is there a black market for Dunkin' Donuts' butter pecan or cookie dough syrups? Someone needs to smuggle me some, #life-changing." So, of course, I saw the tweet and said, well, we have to respond to that. We have to do something a little fun, maybe a little cheeky. And so we're going to go ahead and pretend we didn't see this tweet and did the hear no, speak no, see no evil. And I think, for me, when I run a cross-functional team, it's important to really show these kind of examples to our reps. We meet every Monday morning. We go over some of our best responses of the week, and we really want to empower everyone to feel like they can stretch and push and embrace that brand voice, because that's a way to celebrate your fans and keep your community going, is making sure it's fun for them. If they're going to tweet about their Monday morning coffee run, we might as well have a little something back when we respond. And here's another good example. So kind of parlaying with our #mydunkin campaign, we had a fan tweet us that he proposed to his girlfriend inside a Dunkin' Donuts. Pretty cool. So we actually decided to create a Vine, and I'm going to ask the team if they can show it to you quickly. But we got our agency, Hill Holiday, made this. We reenacted the proposal on Vine. So pretty cute right there. So the point is that, you're not... So you're not going to be able to do this for every single consumer that tweets you, but I think when you can really find those amazing stories and the moment to really, those reach opportunities where you can just reach that bit higher and really kind of, the fan is going out of their way to share this special, hopefully once in a lifetime moment that they had in your store. You've got to do something special. And as seen here, the fan really enjoyed it. And we actually responded in a way to share it to our entire community as a way to just make sure that everyone could join in celebrating and congratulating them together. So lesson number 5 is to add value with personalized content and programming. So a big part of our business that you might not know about is that we are almost 100% franchised. So we actually do not own our restaurants, our franchisees do. So a lot of value for Dunkin' is the local markets we serve. So a huge deal for us is to personalize content and programming to be relevant, whether it's here in Orlando, in Miami, in Boston, in Chicago, because the voice of the brand will have a little bit of a different flavor depending on the community that they're in. So we have regional Twitter handles. We've probably got about 40 of them now. And we also have our market's geo-target content through our Facebook page. So you can see here some examples of the content that they put on. But they also do local partnerships, local programs. Sports is huge for us. And you can't really talk about the Yankees in Boston the way you can in New York, or vice versa with the Red Sox, because fans are just going to not be feeling that. So that's a great way for us to really personalize those messages. And I have to call out here this Lunch with Gronk contest that we ran in Boston. Hysterical. We had these life-size Gronk standees in our stores, and we ran a photo contest locally through the Boston team where fans actually could submit their pictures with the Gronk and for a chance to win a lunch event with him at Gillette Stadium. And Boston.com ran a photo slideshow of 100 of what they deemed the best ones, and each one was more hysterical than the next. One other way I wanted to talk to you about how we personalize content and programming is really we look at what our community likes in terms of interests, whether it's entertainment, whether it's sports, and we really, as we're putting together different media partnerships and integrations that we do, we want to make sure that those community insights and interests really align with who we're partnering with. And one that you might have heard of was the relationship we had with ESPN and the Vine activation that we did. So we partnered with ESPN's Monday Night Countdown, and we actually produced the first in-program Vine billboard ad. And so exclusively from Vine, 6 seconds. It actually aired as you were going to commercial within the program, so it was a first. But what we also decided to do is we decided to, during Monday Night Football, following the program, is recreate a marquee play from the first half of the game using coffee cups. So I'm going to ask the team if they can click to Vine one more time and show you one that we did here. So as you can see here, so this is our agency. Pretty amazing, right? So this is really, when I'm talking about catering to your community, we know that our fans love sports. They love football. And, we have all these regional sports partnerships, but when you want to do something on a national scale, this is how we do it. And it's fantastic because each week it changed. We tried it with different products, and the set is actually quite large. Our Hill Holiday team and our team from Dunkin did a great job working on this together to pick the play and reenact the play very, very quickly in real time. And we shared it across Vine, we shared it across Twitter, and we were able to enter the Monday Night Football conversation, which, keep in mind, is at night, and we're more of a morning through afternoon brand. So we're able to enter conversation on Twitter in a time when you wouldn't necessarily be talking about Dunkin' Donuts, in a way that added value to the game and kind of was in our fun and irreverent kind of brand voice. So, and that to me is also celebrating your community because it's adding value in a way that's fun but not really hitting them over the head with kind of marketing or promotions. So I'm going to wrap up here, but key takeaways from my talk are to celebrate your fans. Look for opportunities to put your fans in the spotlight when you see those great content, messages, stories, retweets, sending them care packages. There's so many different ways you can do this. Embrace your fans as storytellers. All that data, all that content that you're getting each and every day, that's stuff that you can be using. It takes the headache out of putting your content calendar together and makes your job a lot easier. Respond to your fans more than you blast out content. You're on social media to keep your fans running, to celebrate how they engage with your company. Really cater to them. And also, when you're putting programming together, make sure it's relevant and use community insights to keep your programming running. So that is my talk, and I'll take some questions. Thank you.